I'm Kai, your host of K-pop lore, and today we'll be discussing Kiho's love, Choi Taeyang, or better known as P1Harmony's vocalist, Theo, and their debut movie and album, P1H, A New World Begins, and Disharmony Stand Out. Alright, so we're going to be starting with the movie, and I would definitely recommend watching if you haven't already, as there will be some pretty big spoilers. So out of the three times, which is the past, the present, and the future, Theo is in the future with Jungsob, Nuna, and Azusi. Seoul will also come into the picture in the future later as well. For this video, we will only be discussing the future, as the past nor present really end up lining up with the future, so we're going to leave those two out of this. When the movie starts, there's a mannequin that has a voice box, which is singing, which voices help to lure in the Alcor drones. When we see Theo, he is waiting, I think, behind a car to see if he needs to pew them down. However, he doesn't need to pew it down, and it gets caught by Jungsob. Then Jungsob puts it in the back of the truck and gets in. Theo also then joins Jungsob in the truck, and they drive back to their base, which is an abandoned movie theater, where Nuna complains that she'd like to be in an apartment, but Theo, just not being super respectful, says, like, well, we can't, they're not soundproof. Also, that was my cat if you heard him. Hi, Ali, butthead. He just kind of sits there cleaning his gun, not really doing much. And Jungsob, who took apart the drone and was inspecting it and all that, then comes out happy about like what he found and stuff. So Nuna, Azusi, and Theo all go in and they look at what Jungsob did, and they ask a few questions, and Theo just lets Jungsob explain, doesn't really ask much. You will see this becomes a pattern. Later on, he talks to Azusi, and they decide that tomorrow they're going to go find oil. They go into an abandoned building to look for it, and they do find oil, but they also come across a bunch of the drones, so they have to pew them down. And now Seoul joins. Here are a little bit of spoilers, which will be more talked about when I do a deep dive into Seoul and into Na and Jungsob as well. He ends up kind of trapping her in one of his traps for animals, but he gets brought back, and so Theo, Jungsob, and Seoul have like some fun interacting. Theo mostly just watches Jungsob and Seoul kind of chase each other. So then they finally decide, like, oh, you know what, like, we have to leave, we have to keep moving, you know, we gotta find the chosen ones, is what Azusi says, which they have no idea what he's talking about. He more so kind of reveals this to Nuna rather than everyone, but as they leave, they walk for a while, they find a safe spot, they camp out there for the night, then they learn that there's going to be a sandstorm, so they try to get ahead of it. They do not manage to, and they kind of get stuck in the sandstorm for a little bit. Then the drones go after them. And next, okay, this is a major spoiler. If you do not want the movie spoiled, go watch it now and then come back. Nuna eventually gets pew-pewed by one of the drones with the virus pin and tells Azusi to, you know, take her out so she doesn't hurt anyone. And right after he does this, Jungsob gets there and Theo kind of has to hold him back. Jungsob and Nuna, they are siblings. So yeah, Theo has to stop him. And then at the very end, they get the sign of the chosen ones, which are the other three. So, and that's when it seems like the timelines are kind of starting to merge a little bit. So, and this is mostly where the movie ends. We have like the siren part that I talked about in Kio's video. So for further explanations, please also go check that out, because that'll help everything make a little bit more sense. I also don't want to be super repetitive, so that will help. So in both the movie and music video, he is like running up the stairs to somewhere, We don't really know where though, or why he's running. His scenes in the Siren music video show him being watched again, likely by Alcor. In Siren, his lines are about coming back home and are seemingly a little more affectionate to Peace than Theo's lines were. Intro Breakthrough is about like regret and him being trapped. Lemonade is also quite sweet, with him trying to kind of build up Peace and make them feel better. That's It is kind of building themselves up and trying to show what they want to be perceived as. Hi, Ollie. Have you come to join us? Have you come to join us? Butterfly is also pretty sweet, and it's about something, well, a butterfly that has lost its wings but still longs for flight. And the skit for Disharmony is about following your dreams, and Theo discusses how he never really wanted to go to college and just always imagined himself singing. And there's plenty of additional info for Theo. The first time he took the 16 personalities test, he got ENFP, which is extroverted, intuition, feeling, perceiving, and then assertive type. I already broke this down a little bit in Theo's video, so if you want more info, go check that out. His dorm role is an alarm clock, as he wakes up earlier than the rest of the members, so he will also sometimes wake them up. He categorizes his relationships with his members as Soul, being a baby at puberty who listens well, Kyo being the glue, or Kiho, his love doesn't reciprocate, Intok as a doppelganger, as they're very similar, Jiyoung as a neighborhood friend. I guess we'd probably call it a little more like childhood friend, but they don't really talk much. They say that that's why they don't talk much, because they already get along, and that Jungsub is a gaming friend. All of P1 calls him cute or cutie. Catchphrase is "look at this." He says nothing really scares him, but cameras are intimidating. His habit is singing in his sleep, as a vocalist does. He says his charms are his monolids and his shyness. If he were an animal, it'd be an eagle or a chameleon. He reveals that he tends to kind of adapt himself to get along better with the members. Same. His representative emoji is the sun, and this is because Taeyang, his real name, means sun in Korean. And he also seems to just be kind of positive for his other members. He likes hamburgers, beef tartare, bibimbap, and ramen. And apparently he eats what he likes like every day of the week, once a day. He is also sweet to the two youngest, as he shares his room with the babies before they go to bed. He also listens to music while sleeping with headphones in. I do this in the car. Normally it's by accident though, but that's fine. That's whatever. And thank you for listening to my little deep dive. I hope to see you back next week for the next episode. We'll be discussing Jiyoung from P1Harmony. Stay safe, eat well, and drink your water. Please, please, please drink your water, especially if you're in a heat wave like me. So I'll see you next time. Bye!